A cool, rainy night in the capital city as the USL Super League rolls into Week 33 with a midweek matchup between DC Power and Spokane Zephyr. Alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I'm Bridget Howard. Happy to be with you tonight. All right, Gary, well, we're in the final weeks of the inaugural Super League season, and the standings couldn't be closer for some of these teams who are still vying for the remaining 3 spots in the playoff picture.
Yeah, vital for Spokane in particular. A win here today. They go 41 points. They are very, very close to making those playoffs. A lot of work for Fort Lauderdale and Brooklyn to do to catch them. So massive 3 points. And for DC Power, they just want to keep on winning 2 games and 2 wins back to back.
Yeah, DC has been the spoiler the last 2 weeks against Brooklyn and Dallas, 2 teams who are very much in the thick of this playoff race. Phil Nana loved the resiliency he saw from this group last Thursday in their 3-2 comeback win over Dallas Trinity.
Yeah, started by Loza Abera. She got a fantastic goal. This one comes out. Fitch tucks it in from a tight angle, set at 2-2. Loza Abera gets it onto her left foot, bends it. Golazo, golazo.
First time that DC Power has won back-to-back games this season, and our player to watch tonight for DC, Loza Abera, just coming off a great performance offensively versus Dallas.
Top-class performance, 2 fantastic strikes, one with the right foot, the first one, second one with the left foot, so it shows that she can score with either foot. Only 3 goals for the entire season. What's it, about 18 appearances she's had, so overall the number's not high enough, but she just showed the potential, hopefully, for DC Power, she can produce the goods again today.
Meanwhile, Spokane is riding a 3-match unbeaten streak heading into this road test tonight. They've got 8 wins this spring, and that comeback in the second half to draw versus Brooklyn was huge.
Show great strength and inner tenacity. There's the second going in the back of the net. Well, that was against Lexington, but they've scored so many goals from good positions. Draw at Brooklyn, they beat Lexington, they've beaten Tampa Bay Sun. They're really on a good run at the moment.
And they're on that good run thanks to the addition of Allie Cook, who has been one of the most effective additions to any team in the Super League this spring. She played hero again on Saturday, as you mentioned, versus Brooklyn. She's our player to watch for Spokane.
Yeah, she scored in the previous match as well against Lexington, a 2-0 home victory. That's what you want, a regular goal scorer, Allie Cook, and she helps with the assists as well. Put her alongside Amina Ekic and Mackenzie Wynot. What a front 3 you have for Spokane Zephyr.
Well, will DC Power be the spoiler again tonight and pick up their 3rd straight win, or can Spokane Zephyr keep riding this unbeaten streak and pick up a timely win on the road? Energy is building at Audi Field with kickoff just moments away. We'll be back from the nation's capital after this. You're watching the USL Super League on Peacock.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Show you something so good that you ain't never seen before. I'll show you something you've never seen before.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Bomb's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Bomb's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
back at Audi Field. Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard on the call with you tonight. Let's get a look at the starting lineups between DC Power and Spokane Zephyr as we get set here for kickoff. Here's a look at Phil Nana's starting 11 for DC Power. A couple changes for his side, Gary.
3 changes to the team that beat Dallas. Maddie Wolfbach comes in at centre-back. Captain Claire Constant not available. Amber Diorio also at centre-back. Myra Conte to the bench. And Loza Bearer, who got those 2 wonder goals in the last match, she starts. Yuki Kurosaki goes to the bench.
So as for Spokane Zephyr, no changes here really, except for one in the midfield with Sophie Braun. I mean, why fix what isn't broken if you're Joe Johnson?
100%. 2 wins and a draw, last 3. Why not? Emma Jaskanek goes to the bench. But look at that front 3. 16 goals between Wynett, Cook, and Ekic.
Love that. They've certainly been quite the trio up top here in the USL Super League this spring. Well, Joe Johnson, I mean, she's been exceptional in leading this side. I'm sure she'd like to not be in this rain here this evening, but, you know, she's led this Spokane side this spring, 8 wins so far, and just really been off to a great start, and especially as we get closer to the playoffs, they are in true form. And here's a look at interim head coach for DC Power, Phil Nana. He's brought a fresh energy to this team.
He's turned them around. He said it was coming. He said game by game they were getting better. They just weren't getting results. Well, they've won the last 2. He wants to make it 3 in a row and finish off the season with a smile.
Well, here's our head official tonight, Alexandra Billiter. She'll be making all the tough decisions here this evening. DC Power in their home black kits. Love the blue accents on those. And then as for Spokane, they're in the white and gold. Love that pattern on their jerseys. We've got some good kits in the USL Super League. So Spokane Zephyr and DC Power getting set here this evening. DC has turned into the league's most dangerous spoiler right now. Winners of 2 straight against top-tier sides. Spokane right in the thick of the postseason race, unbeaten in their last 3 and hungry for more. It's been a steady rain here in Washington, D.C. It's been raining all day, 66 degrees, so something to certainly keep an eye on throughout this match. Gianna Gorley will get us started as we are underway here at Audi Field. Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard with you here this evening. Power moving it up the pitch. This ball will roll all the way back. Sydney Cummings. Play it to Hope Heisey.
First thing we must talk about is the rain.
Yes.
We've been watching it fall now for the last couple of hours before the game. There's a lot of water out there now. The pitch probably drains really well. You do think it's going to be slippery, especially for defenders having to turn. So, and I think you can see as the ball skips along, little shoots of water coming up. So let's see how the players can cope with these conditions.
Yeah, that ball's going to skip on this pitch, and watch those first touches as well. Those have to be on. This ball comes across into the box. Oh, and how about that? DC Power gets things going early. Harley Freeles, and it'll be called back offside. But Phil Nana has to like that explosive energy here in the early goings of this first half.
This is Gorley gets down the right-hand side. I'm assuming she was offside because certainly Freeles is not. Oh, you know what it is? It's Loza Beres right in front of the goalkeeper. Have a look here in an offside position. And that's why it was given. What a pity, because she doesn't affect the ball as such. If she was out the way, it wouldn't have made much difference, but the fact that she's blocking the keeper's view, that's why it was turned down.
Katie Murray turns and looks towards goal. Aquino collects.
Loza Bear's gone from scoring 2 wonder goals in the last match to being the person who stops a goal being scored. She's not going to be happy about that.
In our conversations with Phil Nana, he talked about getting her into the games has been a question of when's been the best time and at what position, and so today she gets the nod in the starting 11. Hoping to get things going offensively early for this DC team.
He was talking about, is she a 9 or a 10? That was his first question. And is she more effective coming on as a sub when defenders are tired?
Gorley gets this ball in the corner. Gorley with another ball across the box, and that's where you're gonna see those first touches maybe getting misplayed because of that rain. A corner kick coming for DC Power.
That's the second wonderful ball she's put into the box, and it's a, as you say, it's a difficult one for the defenders to deal with, but Loza Berra, just if she'd have made a run a bit earlier, would have been able to tap that into the back of the net. So really good questioning ball from Gianna Gorley.
So Katie Duong set to take this corner kick for DC Power. Duong making her 22nd start of the season. Duong with the rain coming down, a low ball in. Sent forward by Spokane. Bagley to Fitch. Gianna Gorley has been a welcomed addition to this DC side from Fort Lauderdale this spring. She has 5 goals and an assist on the year, and it's just brought loads of energy to the attack for DC. Shot towards goal from Mernon, picked up by Heisey.
It's been a positive start by DC Power, picking up on where they've left off the last couple of games, putting pressure on Spokane, asking questions of them defensively, but for Loza Berra sort of just, well, Loza Berra rather getting in an offside position, which was unfortunate because she could have been anywhere else except right in front of the goalkeeper, and that goal probably would have still been allowed.
Katie Murray picks this ball up in the midfield. Spokane trying to move the ball quickly. Throw in. Quick restart. Weiner will play this ball across on the ground. Ekich. Ball sent towards goal. Aquino collects.
Ekich, such a clever player, just setting up Sophie Braun there for an effort which goes straight to Aquino, but good play. And wherever you see Amina Ekich, you're gonna see problems for DC Power, I would suggest. She's such a brilliant player in this league, and both in terms of scoring goals and with assists. 8 goals, 6 assists. That is a really impressive season.
Katie Murray at the top of the box. Went to take a shot, but coming from behind was Gorley.
Katie Murray probably arguing that Gorley tripped her from behind. I'm not quite sure. Let's have a look at it again, because she was running with the ball here and she was just winding up to take a shot. And now Gorley does get the ball. Apologies to her. Great little foot in there. As you see Katie Murray about to go for the shot there, she just pokes it away from her. So referee making the correct decision.
Phil Nana telling us earlier this week, Gianna Gorley just week in and week out comes to training, one of the hardest working players on this team. And what he loves most is just her consistent work rate. But not only that, just a very positive person. Has a positive outlook on a lot of things, which has really benefited this DC side who has struggled this spring. Sydney Cummings sends this ball long. Ekich using her moves on this near side on the ground. Katie Murray not able to settle that ricochet.
Just saw a game from Ekic there, getting down the line, getting the cross in the box. Really does affect players. You've almost got to double team her there. You leave her one-on-one and she's likely to get a dangerous ball into the box.
Spokane struggled early in the first half against Brooklyn on Saturday night. Brooklyn came out hot offensively, scoring 2 goals in the first half. Joe Johnson said this evening a big focus is asserting their style of play early, and after DC's quick start, you're seeing them start to settle in, work the ball around. This is more like the Spokane team we've seen this spring. Ekic turning. Katie Murray to the backside.
Both these teams were 2-0 down in their last game. Resilience from, in fact, both coaches spoke to us about the resilience, especially Phil Nana saying he was so proud of his team coming from 2-0 down. But same with Joe Johnson. Both of them 2-0 down, both of them coming back to get a result.
Frilez taking on Almer. Ball played across the pitch. That'll be picked up by Alyssa Bourgeois. Throw-in coming from Haley Thomas. In the first meeting between Spokane and DC back in September, Haley Thomas scored an absolute beauty off of a set piece.
Has been very much dominated by Spokane, hasn't it? 2 wins and a draw in their 3 meetings. Wouldn't Phil Nana love to at least get 1 win over Spokane, but it might damage Spokane's chances of making the playoffs if he does.
Good defending from Bourgeois, who had Gorley right on her.
To take that point a little bit further, different pressure for these 2 teams. For DC Power, it would be lovely to get a 3rd win in a row. They want to end the season well. Phil Nana's saying, you know, they're really looking to next season. They want to end positive. They want to have fun. For Spokane, this is about getting to the playoffs. This is a massive 3 points. They get this. They are very close. It would take a hell of a lot for them not to make the playoffs. And if they lost, it opens up a big opportunity for Fort Lauderdale United in particular. So huge, huge importance for Spokane here tonight.
Yeah, in terms of the playoffs, if DC wins tonight, Tampa Bay will clinch a playoff spot. And if Spokane wins, they'll jump Dallas Trinity in the standings. So again, it's a very, you know, close in terms of the teams that are still in playoff contention. This game having implications of its own tonight. So I'm sure Tampa Bay Sun players are watching this evening.
One thing as a player, you want it to be in your hands. You want to make sure when you don't want to have to be watching and hoping other teams get results. So, you know, when you do play, you want to impact it and put yourself in the best position possible. But yes, I mean, certainly Tampa Bay would love to be handed that playoff spot with a DC win here tonight. In the same way Spokane would love, by their own doing, get themselves into an almost untouchable position in the playoffs.
Well, and to that point, Allie Cook, you know, throughout this spring has said, you know, we don't want to leave this up to anybody else. We want to control our future. And that just speaks to your point of how important it is to be able to just control what's in front of you. And that's also been the message from Joe Johnson to her side this entire spring season. They're focused on the 90 minutes they've got in front of them. And you'll hear coaches say it a lot, control the controllables.
Yeah. But again, a whole different locker room between DC Power ending the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, feeling positive, 2 wins. Phil Nana showing that what a good coach he is and how he's turned things around, versus Joe Johnson pushing Spokane to try and get this win, try and close out or nearly close out a playoff place, and then of course take it from there into the playoffs, which is going to be crucial. They're good enough to win this whole thing, and especially with Amina Ekic up front, I don't think there's many teams that are going to want to play against Spokane Zephyr.
Looking for that seam. It'll roll out of bounds. Goal kick for DC Power. Morgan Aquino in net, making her 20th start on the season. 5 clean sheets to her name. Anna Bagley has been busy on that far side. DC switches it quickly. Opaisi gets a goal kick.
I think something else I've got to mention about the Spokane side is you want to hit the best form coming into playoffs, obviously. And their form in the spring has been very good, just 1 loss in 10 games. So, you know, they will probably feel, especially if they can get a win here tonight, or at least a result of some sort, that they're coming right, in the right time. They're going to make the playoffs, take good form into the playoffs, and that's exactly what, as a coach, you would be trying to do throughout the season.
No doubt. The only team that Spokane Zephyr has lost to this spring, the top-seeded Carolina Ascent. So if there's any team you're going to lose to, not a good sign for Spokane. Katie Murray.
Emily Colton being spoken to by the referee, Alexandra Billiter, and now goes back to check on the stricken player.
Let's look back at what happened here. You can see this ball skipping across the pitch.
She's just gone into the back of Katie Murray there. I don't think there's anything nasty. I think it's probably a knee in the back of the leg or something similar. I don't think there's any nasty intentions there, but nonetheless, those can hurt.
No doubt, and Katie Murray has been such a bright spot for this Spokane side. Initially, we saw her coming off the bench in a couple of games. She's also been in the starting lineup quite a bit, making her 20th start of the season. She scored 3 goals, had 2 assists, and Joe Johnson has just loved the spark that she's been for this team in whatever role she's been put in.
Some discussion between Phil Nana and the players here as well as to what little changes they can make this early on in the game.
So Phil Nana having a conversation there with Madison Wolfbauer, and Wolfbauer back in the meeting between these two sides on September 29th. She had 2 goals herself, and they were back-to-back PKs.
Yeah, only 2 goals she scored, but she took them well. Goalkeeper gets a hand on them, just can't keep it out. And that was in the 2-2 draw. Wolfbauer steps up again. And that one again, the keeper gets a hand on, and it just squirms over the line.
I'm sure defenders love being in those moments, right? Not too often do you get to step up and take a PK or score a goal for that matter. We started to see it more with the role of the defender changing over the last couple of, over the last couple of years, but another defender who got in the scoring column in this series, Haley Thomas. We mentioned it earlier. In the very first meeting between these two sides, Haley Thomas with an absolutely brilliant individual finish here.
This is a fantastic header because she's stretching to reach it, but she gets power on it, she gets direction on it, It's a brave header. It's a strong header. Fantastic.
Yeah, Haley Thomas. That was really her initiation into the starting lineup for this Spokane side. A couple of injuries forced her to move into that back line for Spokane, and she's been a mainstay on this back line ever since. 2 goals and 2 assists this season.
Just talking about these improvements with Jo Johnson and the Spokane team, she said the biggest improvement in the spring has been our mentality. She said, we knew the second part of the season would be a grind, we're prepared for it, and we're mentally tough, and it's showing in the games.
Well, and every coach will tell you that first half of the season, really everything was new for teams, for coaches, for players, everyone. And so you're trying to figure out that cohesion. And this second half of the season, to your point, now they've got the mentality. They've been able to settle in and really know who they are as a team. And we're seeing that play out. 8 wins for this Spokane team this spring.
It's a slightly different story for Phil Nana. Also getting to the point where something positive has happened. He said, we've now found our identity, and we now know we'll get through no matter what. We believe in each other. We did say to him, though, it's a pity it didn't happen earlier in the season. He said, yeah, I wish there were more games, because the way they're playing, they could have made a run at the playoffs if they had another 4 or 5 games ahead of them, but unfortunately they don't.
Enter the Prinks Tires Tailgate Kit Sweepstakes for a chance to win a prize pack worth up to $3,000. Scan the QR code on screen to enter today. So after an active first couple of minutes, this game is settled in. DC side, when talking with Phil Nana, he said, all right, we're more of an adaptive group, so we're not necessarily possession based, we're not necessarily, you know, any certain way, but we're going to adapt to what our opponent gives us. And it seemed to work out these last couple of games. Gianna Gorley finds Fitch. Fitch will play it back into the box. Cleared out by Spokane, and it's a player down in the midfield for Spokane.
Just back to your point about Phil Nana saying they're flexible. We'll take a look at the injury. It's a bit of a shake of the head, which is not good news.
Yeah, that's Katie Murray again, who had just come off the pitch.
She's really struggling now, isn't she? Sad to see that so early in the match. But just with that point about Phil Nana, if you want to be flexible and be able to play any system, any way against any opposition, you have to have a very high football IQ amongst the team. Sometimes it's easy to say we're a 4-4-2 or 3-5-2, whatever it is, and you stick to that no matter what. But clearly what Phil Nana wants is a team that can change and morph into anything they want to be in that moment. But you've got to be quite clever at the way the football is played to do that. So
yeah, as a player, how hard is that to be maybe playing one way your entire club and college career, and then all of a sudden be told, hey, we're going to adapt to whatever they give us? Like, what is that change like as a player?
it's something you have to practice. And in practice, the coach can shout 4-4-2, 3 at the back, 5 at the back, wing backs wide, bring everybody in and bunch up the midfield, and you chop and change as you go along, ball thrown back in, and that substitution made. Now so sad to see Katie Murray go off.
Yeah, Katie Murray will step off. Emma Jaskinek, number 3, now in her place for Spokane.
Just at that point, you practice it in training, but a little bit different doing it actually in the game.
Long ball looking for Ibarra, and Hope Heisey makes the sliding save. Allie Cook says, I'll take that. Great touches from Anna Bagley. Bagley plays it up to Ibarra. Bagley rips one from distance. Good build-up from DC.
Nice build-up. Final shot not good enough. Way, way too high to bother a goalkeeper as good as Hope Heisey, but at least got to give credit for the confidence to shoot from there. But Hope Heisey with more clean sheets than, well, she's joined first. No one has more clean sheets than her, let's put it that way. She has 9 already this season.
Mackenzie Weiner had a good run up that far side. Katie Duong making her 22nd start. You can see that rain still coming down at Audi Field. Slippery conditions this evening. Allie Cook gets on the end of it. No one home on the other side of the box.
Wow, that was close from Allie Cook, because goalkeeper Morgan Aquino had come off her line and she chipped her. If the chip had been at the goal, that would have been into an empty net. Good effort there from Allie Cook, who seems to have taken a knock in the process.
Allie Cook definitely slow to get up after that intervention with Aquino.
Yeah, Coach Joe Johnson saying we were missing someone like Allie Cook since she's been here. She helps pin the centre backs and keep them away from the width, and that helps Mackenzie and Amina isolate defenders in wide areas. So she's been a vital, vital addition, has Allie Cook in the spring.
Haley Thomas, ooh, good look, just floats high.
Long way out, but once again, credit for the confidence to have a dip from there. 20+ yards. Just enough for Morgan Aquino to be concerned for a split second, and eventually it has too much height on it.
Allie Cook testing Morgan Aquino up top. We knew what great players Spokane had, but to your point about the addition of Allie Cook, she's able to pin those center backs and then allow space for players like Ekich and Weiner. It's highlighted their capabilities immensely this spring, getting the pressure or focus taken off of them.
Especially Amina Ekich. I mean, she is such an impact player. Take the last match. She won the free kick and scored from it. And then against Brooklyn, she won the penalty and scored from it. So she's an impactful player, both in creating opportunities and finishing them. I mean, that sort of quality player to have on the pitch is, well, I'm sure every coach in the league would love to have an Amina Ekich.
Yeah, she leads the Spokane Zephyr side with 34 chances created on the year. Allie Cook looking for space. Bourgeois into the box. Claimed by Aquino. Loza Ibarra in a new role tonight, starting for this DC Power side. Susanna Fitch to the backside. Sydney Cummings heads it the wrong way and thankfully doesn't go in the back of the net, but goes on top of the net. Corner kick for DC.
I think she was very relieved there, because you're quite right. She was aiming to flick it on and headed it straight back.
It's not the first time that there's been an own goal in a matchup between these two sides. Amber Diorio in the second meeting between these two teams had the unfortunate own goal to tie things up, and that match on September 29th ended in a 2-2 draw. So Duong on the corner kick once again for DC. Played in, headed out by Almer. Freeles plays it back in. Duong looking for anyone. Cummings. Almer has been busy clearing balls out of the box this evening. And this back line for DC Power, you know, it's worth mentioning again, Claire Constant, one of their mainstays on that back line, not available this evening. Fitch on the ground to the center of the box. Jaskinek worked back. Colton to Duong. So DC Power getting a number of touches in and around the outside of the 18.
Yeah, good pressure from the home side. It just didn't result in anything on goal as such. Hope Heisey not having to do much work, but it had promise in it. The ball didn't fall for Loza Abera. She was hunting for an opportunity. You know, Freeles had to take that shot very quickly when it came to her, so it didn't get much accuracy behind it. But at least they now have a high press as well. So we've seen from DC Power, again, had the season have started a couple of weeks ago, they might very well be a playoff contender because their recent form has been so good.
About that turn from Ekic, touch just gets away from her. Hope Heisey, leader of this backfield for Spokane Zephyr, in her neon pink goalkeeper kit this evening. Phil Nana told us one of the keys he thinks to this match tonight is being able to dictate play in the middle third of the pitch. Done a solid job so far, but Spokane, when they've been able to have their moments and switch the point of attack quickly, they've looked really nice so far.
Well, they're a very dangerous team, and as soon as you knock balls wide to Ekic or to Wynett, you know straight away you're in trouble if you're DC Power. So they're having to be very vigilant. Phil Nana would have worked that through with them because he said as much. He said you have to watch those wide players.
Communication has to be on tonight.
Yeah.
Certainly.
100%. And you know, managers will or coaches will always tell you they want to dominate this and dominate that. The problem is go out there and do it. It's not easy.
Sarah Clark.
Yeah, sometimes it just comes down to an individual with the ability to hold the ball up better than someone else or have better vision or take the chance when it comes around, or like Amina Ekic have those sort of skills.
Amina Ekic looking for space, Jaskinek towards goal. A number of the shots this evening have gone high or wide and haven't necessarily been on target, but both sides have gotten some clear looks on goal.
Well, they certainly have, but in that situation there, I'm looking at Jaskinek and saying, play it back to Amina Ekic. She was looking for a 1-2, she gave it to her, she ran into space in the box. I'd rather see Ekic trying to get it in the box and run at the keeper than trying my luck from 25 yards out. It would take a golazo to beat Aquino from that far out. But giving Ekic the ball in the box, now you're talking about someone who can make things happen.
Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. 3 minutes into this match here this evening between DC Power and Spokane Zephyr. DC out of the playoff picture themselves, but again, they've turned to the league's most dangerous spoiler at this point. And Spokane right in the thick of that postseason race, unbeaten in their last 3 matches. Thomas on the near side, finds Cook. Allie Cook, 5 goals so far this spring, making her 12th start for Spokane. She scored the equalizer on Saturday versus Brooklyn in stoppage time. She get on the scoring sheet here again. Allie Cook sends it towards goal. And will be deflected, it looks like, so a corner kick on the way for Spokane.
Aquino just getting a fingertip to that ball just to tip it over the crossbar. Tries to thread it through, does Allie Cook, and it comes back and she thinks, okay, well, I'll have a dip. What's the keeper there? Well, I don't know if I saw a touch on that. Let's have a look at it again. No, maybe not. Maybe it did deflect it before that. It's hard to see as the rain comes down as well.
Yeah, one thing we can see is that rain. Certainly a huge factor in this matchup tonight, coming down hard at Audi Field. Amina Ekic. This one high. Spokane resets. Jaskinek to Ekic on that far side now. Sarah Clark, where will she go? So this ball trickles all the way back to Hope Heisey.
You mentioned Sarah Clark. Interesting stat about her. She actually has the most passes in the league. Obviously playing out from the back.
Amina Ekic cut it back, and Bourgeois plays it out of bounds.
Bourgeois done all the hard work, got to the byline, and then just didn't focus enough on getting across into the danger area. You do get the sense that Spokane are beginning to get more and more on the front foot. The early pressing from DC, they've dealt with that, and now they're beginning to dominate the match a little bit more, as you would expect from a team that is in that playoff position.
Libera. Cummings with the good work defensively. Velez to Fitch. Velez made her debut for this DC side on March 9th. So hasn't been with the club too long. She's a busybody in that midfield for DC, constantly making runs, testing defenses. Fitch looks to the backside. Fitch with it at her feet again. Mernon. Bagley.
It's all helter-skelter in that box, isn't it? It's not, the ball's not being cleared any large distance, and it's just being recycled and pressure put on. Now let's see if they can hold possession now, Spokane.
Allie Cook settles and plays it back to Jaskinek.
Does take me back to the first couple of minutes when that goal was scored by Carly Freles and it was given offside against Loza Berra. That turned out, that little bit of action in the first minute or two turned out to be the most important moment in the entire match so far. And so unfortunate for DC Power that Loza Berra was in that offside position and interfering with the goalkeeper's vision. That was a lovely move and obviously would have given DC a great start to the game.
No doubt. Throw in for Spokane Zephyr. Looking at this series between these two teams, DC has never come away with all 3 points versus Spokane, so they're hoping to continue that winning streak that they're on. Right now, they've won their last 2. Can they finally pick up 3 points against Spokane? We shall see. Spokane will work it around the back. Hopaisi sends a long ball forward. Diorio misses it. Ekic saves it from going out of bounds. Here's where Spokane is so dangerous. They switch it quickly and they've got the speed. But Thomas caught up. Phil Nana doesn't look too pleased with that call.
Let's have a look at it again to see what has upset Phil Nana. I mean, it's a slide coming together, but if you don't get the ball and you sort of make contact with a player coming through, then Emily Colton, you're always likely to get called up for the free kick. So question is, what can Amina Ekic, with her cultured boot, what can she do with it from here?
The question is, what can't she do, Gary? We have seen it all this season. Ekic plays it into the box, and impressive header there from Madison Wolfbauer. This first half winding down on either side. On the scoreboard, Mackenzie Weinert lays it off for Ekic. Ekic to the touchline. On the ground, Haley Thomas was looking for a seam.
That was such a lovely move down that left-hand side between Amina Ekic and Mackenzie Weinert. Brilliant. Started by Ekic deep in her own half, and then Weinert just waited and backheeled it into space for her. And she was through and into the box. Ball gets knocked across and gets cleared, and then Haley Thomas hit it. I think she thought it was going in or was going to have a chance because her hands went up and then the ball got blocked.
This ball skips into the arms of Hopaisi. I think what makes this Spokane side so challenging for opponents is the fact that they're constantly switching up top. So you'll see Ekic on one side and then she'll be on this near side. And you saw that there with Ekic and Weinert, that cohesion that they have, and Weinert able to just lay it off. Knew Ekic would be there. That's why most teams, when we have conversations with them, they say we've got to have good communication. There's constant movement up top for Spokane. Gorley with an odd touch. Lands with Jaskinek, and a shot from long range. Trickles wide.
Yeah, not the best of shots either from Jaskinek. It's more than a hopeful one. It was 30+ yards out. Another team able to really get that breakthrough that would bring this match to life. Hopefully it will come in the second half if it doesn't come in the next couple of minutes.
Third minute now between DC Power and Spokane Zephyr. early goal from Carly Freeles was called back. Zephyr offside. That was about our only real true look on goal that we've seen in this first half.
There's been some nice probing around the edge of the box from Spokane Zephyr, especially Mina Ekic, Ali Cook, Mackenzie Wynett, but nothing's really come of it. Quite a few long-range shots from both teams, but again, the onus is more on Spokane than it is on DC Power. DC might be at home, but Spokane need these points. A draw would be an okay result, but I think at this stage of the game, they're really desperate for all three.
Sydney Cummings collides with Gianna Gorley. Gorley taking her time to get up after this collision. Let's look at Jo Johnson. She said coming into this match offensively, she needed this group to be sharper. When it came to the attack against Brooklyn, they got off to a slow start. But again, to your point, they've been probing around the box, they've been knocking on the door, but haven't had a true quality opportunity or good look so far in this first half. So a restart now for DC Power. Katie Duong, the far side of the pitch. Bagley, Gorley, Bagley again. I see oncoming pressure from Wolfbauer. So every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season on the SiriusXM app. Marion and Anna have done such a nice job with that all season long. It's been fun to listen to every week.
And they're both great. They've got great opinions. Lots of, as you say, lots of fun, lots of laughs, lots of smiles. Really is a good show.
And getting to hear from players has been a nice addition to that show as well. Really allows you to listen to some of the brightest players in this league. So we'll add 3 minutes of stoppage time to this first half.
Coach Fulnana talking about Loza Obera being better as a substitute coming off the bench last 20 minutes. We haven't seen much of her in the first half, and that's probably what he's referring to, is that when she does come on with a little bit of energy, not much time left on the pitch, she buzzes around, defenders are tired, and she gets some joy. Haven't seen her do much so far in this half.
Freeles is it back to Duong. Fitch, Duong. Fitch cuts it inside. Looking at goal. That ball deflected by Sarah Clark. A corner kick for DC Power.
That was nice and positive from Fitch there, getting in the box. Not quite sure if that was a shot or a pass. It sort of was heading towards the far post, but a little bit wide of it. In the end, got deflected on the way, but I think she might have been going for a bender into the far corner. Either way, good effort into a dangerous position, and it's got her team a corner here.
Yeah, nonetheless, into a dangerous area. Katie Duong. Her number called upon again to take this corner kick. In the box.
A foul against either the centre back or the goalkeeper, I would presume. There's a lot of bodies on top of Hope Heisey, and she's got a really good punch in there. A couple of bumps and bruises for the defenders, though, in the process for Alyssa Bourgeois. Goalkeeper doing well to punch that out. She's actually made more saves than any other goalkeeper this season, 67 in total, which from a team that's been playing well is quite surprising. Normally you have less saves to make when your team's playing well, and yet she's kept the most clean sheets. So the most saves and the most clean sheets Interesting combination.
Hope Heisey, since the Spokane team has turned to her in goal, has been able to do a lot in goal. And to your point, how rare is that to see someone have that many saves but also clean sheets, like that pairing together?
I mean, it's normally one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
You're normally having clean sheets because you don't have much work to do, and you deal with what does come your way. But clearly she's been busy keeping clean sheets, I guess is the best way to describe it. Making the saves that have earned the clean sheets.
Madison Wolfbauer, we saw her 2 goals against Spokane from their September matchup. Headed out by Cummings. And that'll be it for this first half here at Audi Field. Gary, looking back, we talked about that initial opportunity from DC. What else did you see?
Not a lot else, to be honest. There's been effort. There's been lots of shots from distance. There's been some nice moments between Amina Ekic and Ali Cook and Wynett up front, and Fitch on the other side has been doing some good work for DC Power. But I think both teams will feel that they've left a lot that still needs to be done. And second half, Loza Bear, I want to see her more involved, I want to see more attacks. And Spokane need the points more than DC Power, so they've got to get more on the front foot and make things happen in the second half.
Yeah, Spokane Zephyr very much in that playoff race. They have 8 wins this spring, and a big reason for that has been the addition of Ali Cook, who joins us now. Ali, thanks so much for making the time for us. Bridget Howard, Gary Bailey with you. And first things first, when you look back at this first half, what were your thoughts and what needs to change heading into the second half?
Yeah, I think there was times we kept good possession, but it feels like in the final third it's either rushed or just not hitting our targets. So definitely just like putting away chances because we've had it in the attacking third and we just need to convert on it.
And Ali, specifically, how do you link better with Amina and Mackenzie on this very wet surface?
Yeah, I think it's one, losing our marks in the box, and just anticipating the extra bounce or like where it's going to go from like the slick surface.
Awesome. Well, Ali, thanks so much for making the time. We'll let you get to the locker room.
Thank you.
So it's been a rainy, dreary first half here at Audi Field. DC Power thought they got on the board early, called back offside. We're scoreless at the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Launches this ball and finds the winner. Oh, what a play! It's a bending effort.
Caitlin Clark, amazing at assists. Gainbridge, the ultimate assist for your savings. But ever since they teamed up, she's taken assisting to a whole new level. Caitlin Clark, great at assists. Gainbridge, great at assists. for your savings.
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a loan off Fanny. Take a loan for free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was
Put the loan right on me.
totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Back in the nation's capital as the rain is coming down hard at Audi Field. It's scoreless at halftime between DC Power and Spokane Zephyr. Week 33 is officially underway in the Super League, and here's a look at some of the top topics. Playoff push, Carolina Ascent, the only club to clinch a postseason berth. They've just been in form all season long, and they deserve to be that top spot right now.
They certainly do, and they're going to hope that they can keep that form going into the playoffs. And of course tonight it could also be Tampa Bay Sun who join them should DC Power get a win.
Absolutely, and on the topic of Tampa Bay, Cecilia Fleur recorded a goal and 2 assists in last week's 3-0 win over Lexington. What a spring she has had.
She's a wonderful player, clever player, just aware all the time of where the defenders are, and you see a lot of skill from her that is very special to this league.
And a lot of skill in 17-year-old Celie Strawn, the youngest goal scorer in the league. 17? I don't know what you were doing at 17, Gary, but I was not scoring goals in a professional women's soccer league.
Well, I was in the professional league, but I wasn't scoring. I was in goals. So
You were saving up.
I was saving up.
You were saving up. All right, well, here's a look at the upcoming schedule in the USL Super League. On Friday, Lexington will face off with Fort Lauderdale United. And then on Saturday, we'll get a look at the top team in Tampa Bay. Will they have clinched a playoff spot by then? We shall see. And then next Tuesday, we'll get another look at DC Power as they face off with Fort Lauderdale United. All right, well, we've got more coming up for you here at halftime. These fans are enjoying it despite the rain. I love that type of positivity and excitement. DC Power, Spokane Zephyr, scoreless as it stands. Highlights, stats, and more coming your way next. Welcome back to DC. Spokane's playoff push continues, but DC isn't making it easy. Fast, physical first half with plenty left to play. We're scoreless at halftime, but here's what happened in the first 45. DC Power, they've been feeling themselves offensively, and it looked like they got on the board early, but it was called back.
It was called back because Zephyr is right in front of the goalkeeper there, and it's such a pity. I'm assuming that's why it was called back. It didn't look like Gawley was in an offside position. Certainly Friles isn't, and you can see Zephyr standing right in front of Hope Heisey. So the assumption is that it was given for her being in offside position. Now a couple of little half chances. I thought Ali Cook did really well. Goalkeepers come off a line, Aquino. So if that chip is goal bound, it's going to end up in the back of the net. Instead it was crossed. There was nobody there, and that was a little half chance gone. And there were moments here and there. Cook trying to get the ball through, then takes a shot, just goes over. That was about it. There wasn't too much more.
Now the rain's certainly a factor though in this one in terms of ball skipping across the pitch, first touches. Even Ali Cook talked about that and just needing to anticipate bounces better. But when we look at the halftime stats as it stands right now, is there anything that piques your interest?
Well, Spokane have had 3 shots on target to DC Power's 1, and if you look at expected goals, it's 0.14 for the home side, 0.45 for Spokane. So it just means they've been a little bit more dangerous around the box, but not much to choose between the two teams.
So it's 0-0 at halftime. We've got more to play. Second half is coming up next. DC Power and Spokane Zephyr. This is the USL Super League on Peacock. second half just moments away here at Audi Field. The rain continues to pour here in the nation's capital. DC Power and Spokane Zephyr scoreless as we enter the final 45. And you can see there, these players are absolutely drenched right now, Gary. Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard with you this evening. And Gary, this is a big match for Spokane, who is still in the playoff push. They really need this win here tonight. They need to find the back of the net here in this second half. But if DC continues their winning ways, they've won 2 straight coming into this. If they win tonight, Tampa Bay clinches a playoff spot.
As you say, Tampa Bay players will be watching and backing DC Power and supporting them. But for Spokane, they don't want to drop points here and have to take it down to the last couple of matches, so still vital 45 minutes for Spokane Zephyr.
Jaskinek gets things going. Second half officially underway at Audi Field. If Spokane could pick up 3 points here this evening with a win, they would jump Dallas Trinity in the standings. So that would be big for them, still vying for a playoff spot. So a substitution at the break for DC Power. Gianna Gorley now to the bench. Jennifer Cujo on. Allie Cook continues to just put in the effort up top. She hits the deck, but not before an attempt to get a shot off. Goal kick for DC.
Still a big threat. Allie Cook on the one side. The threat, or one of the threats on the other. Gorley haven't gone off. That is a blow for DC Power. Kuja more of a defensive midfielder. Maybe that will help them try and dominate the midfield, but it does reduce their chances of getting goal scorers up front. A lot's going to fall on the shoulders of Loza Abera.
And we talked about Loza Abera in the first half and her role in the starting 11, normally coming on as a sub in the second half, and she's been the ultimate game changer. Hold that thought. Mackenzie Weiner in the corner, using her moves to get around Bagley. On the end of it is Allie Cook, but not enough on that header.
It's a good ball in from Weiner. She's stuck in that corner and she still manages to get across into the danger area. Allie Cook, I think she felt the defender was about to clear it, so she was sort of only making a half an attempt to go for the ball. Worried about getting a boot in the face, probably. Still makes contact, though. And that's why she's such a good striker. She's brave and she puts her head where others might think twice.
But back to Loza Abera, like, how much of a difference is that for a player stepping into that new role of having to frame your mind as a starter versus coming on as a sub?
It is slightly different. You know, if you come on as a sub with 30 minutes left, you know you can run flat out for 30 minutes. Whereas if you come on at the start of a game rather, you might sort of pace yourself. You don't sprint for everything. But certainly over time, Loza Abera seems to be better coming off the bench. And if last match is anything to go by, she did come on at half time, so she got 45 minutes, but the 2 goals she hit were just out of this world. She found space on the edge of the box, but you're up against Spokane, and Spokane are a hard side, and without Gorley, I think their chances up front are going to be diminished quite severely. They do have options they can bring off the bench. You've got Kurosaki and Conte that maybe they can bring on with fresh legs at some stage.
Definitely options for Nana. But you talk about Gianna Gorley. Again, she's really been the force behind this offense this spring. 5 goals and an assist. It was her 18th start this evening. So taking her off, is asking for some other players to step up offensively. There's a look at Gianna Gorley.
Well, certainly with Jennifer Cujo more in that defensive midfield position, it does allow Feliz to get forward a little bit more if she wants to, and maybe out wide, Bagley and Fitch might be able to bomb forward, knowing that Cujo can cover them if they do go.
the primary focuses for this DC team in this match this evening was staying compact defensively. They knew Spokane was going to be able to switch the point of attack quickly. And so far, you're seeing them make it pretty hard for Spokane to break through those lines. Phil Nana had told us they found themselves allowing a lot of space against Dallas in certain moments.
In terms of substitutions, I think Spokane will be making some probably sooner than later, because when we spoke to Jo Johnson, she said, you know, we've got fatigue, we've got quick turnaround games, we've been traveling. She said we're likely to see earlier substitutions to help maintain the intensity for the full 90. So I guess round about, oh, just got paused for a second. I thought Ali Cook had sneaked in. I think round about the 60-minute mark, you'll see Jo Johnson start to make changes, because she's thinking now the next game that comes is also then crucial for qualification in the playoffs and the playoffs themselves. So she has to think beyond this match as well.
Every team has to travel, but about the travel for this Spokane team going all the way across the country, playing up in Brooklyn, now in Washington, DC. Long travel for them, and to your point, they've got some fatigued legs for sure, just with this quick turnaround. They played on Saturday night against Brooklyn. Just a couple of days later, here in the nation's capital.
There's a real break for Spokane after this, because they play Fort Lauderdale United in their final match. Fort Lauderdale United have got 3 games to play before they meet Spokane. And that match could be a decider. If Spokane do not get a win here today, that final match against Fort Lauderdale might be the decider that sees who gets the 4th place in the playoffs.
When we look at the upcoming schedule in the USL Super League, just as the weeks wind down and we inch closer to the playoffs, a lot of these remaining matches are big time ones for all of these teams. And yeah, you look at Spokane Zephyr, their next game is their last on May 31st against Fort Lauderdale United. DC still has a couple games left. Jaskinik, ooh, nearly got a touch in there.
Well, that was close. Jaskinik, great run through the middle. Just didn't quite have the pace to get to the ball first. But it was a lovely effort into the box by Spokane.
Vernon runs onto this ball on the far side. So here's what happened in the box just moments ago. Weiner pushes this ball forward, looking for Jaskinik.
Oh, it is a fantastic tackle, by the way, coming in. Absolutely brilliant. I think from Mernon, because she was just winding up there. Jaskinik, lovely ball in from Weiner, who once again is such a clever player on the fringes. Jaskinik was just winding up. She had her eyes on the goal. She could see the glory. And then in came that lovely sliding tackle.
Nice step from Haley Thomas. Mernon cuts that pass off. DC's back line. Pushed really high right now. This ball forces Aquino to come way out of her box. Heisey with the ball at her feet. Felt very much like a puzzle here this evening. Both teams slowly but surely trying to figure out how to break through. Haley Thomas sends this one out of bounds.
That's a good option for DC Power. Fitch down the right and a Bagley left. Push the ball wide. Try and get that width and try and whip balls into the box. Problem is, Zephyr is the one you want in the box finishing it, but you do have other options getting into the box right now.
Fitch into the box. Bagley was on the end of it. Sent forward by Thomas. Allie Cook is going to hold this ball. Not without some pressure from Cujo. That's why she was brought in. The only halftime substitution for DC Power. Yeah, Amber Diorio hard into that tackle, puts Mackenzie Weinert on the ground.
That's a definite yellow card. You're coming in late, you're coming in hard as well. And that combination, have a look here. It's late, very hard. That's definitely going to get you a yellow card every time. A little bit of conversation amongst the DC Power players as they reorganize themselves. I thought the wet might have a greater play in this match, but to be fair, I haven't seen players slipping that much so far anyway.
We've seen the ball skip quite a bit, but not necessarily to the point of really affecting this match.
Yeah, and I thought players might be turning and slipping and falling. That I haven't seen, but certainly to your point, I've seen the ball skip a little bit. But the players seem to have got used to it. They're judging the bounce of the ball, and they know that when it hits the ground, it's going to shoot off a little bit faster than normal.
You gotta have quick reflexes.
What are the odds this gets floated into the box?
Sarah Clark with the set piece. Just had quite a bit of spin going away from goal. DC, can they capitalize on the counterattack here?
It wasn't a good free kick because it headed towards the box, and as you said, it bent away. And all the Spokane players, well, most of them were in the box, so they had to suddenly start doubling back and getting into defensive position. So not only did the free kick lose the attacking possibility, it then put Spokane in a difficult defensive spot.
Phil Nana told us they wanted to dominate that middle third. They've had some bright moments throughout this match. Beating Spokane to the headers, winning that first touch, or even winning those second balls, so important in the midfield.
Just the one shot on target though, the entire match. Expected goals 0.14 for the home side. It's a solid defensive performance, but not much going forward.
Amina Ekic finds Jaskinek. Taylor Ulmer. Thomas. Lofts it in. Diorio heads it out. Corner kick for Spokane Zephyr. Melissa Bourgeois just does it all. Defensively, she's incredibly reliable, but these outside backs are asked a lot of from Joe Johnson in the way that they play and just getting up into the attack. Ekic. Short ball. Ekic again. Bourgeois was on the end of it. Sent back in. Bourgeois again. Jaskinek. Cummings. So Cummings and Cujo in the box. A tough tackle here.
The ball gets played into Cummings. For me, she's got to hit it first time. The moment you try and control it there's too many bodies. She tries a second one there, ends up kicking the back of Cujo's leg, which must have been painful. But in the box, strikers generally, not always, but generally try and take the ball first time because they know there's no space and no time. And centre backs will often want to try and control the ball. That's maybe the difference. But Certainly Spokane putting a little bit of pressure on. Not coming under much pressure themselves, as you can see here, dealing with whatever DC Power is throwing at them, but creating chances at the other end. The pressure's building, and let's get the sense that if DC Power don't get their foot on the ball, they might end up conceding soon if they're not careful.
Sydney Cummings with that opportunity in the box. She's no stranger to scoring, though. She has 3 goals this season. Scored versus Brooklyn just on Saturday, but needed a first touch there. Allie Cook can't stay on her feet, and that's another yellow card to DC Power's Madison Murnan.
Ali Cook doing well here just to fight for the ball. Just gets ahead of Murnan, gets her body in front of her, and that's why the tackle catches Ali Cook. And those 2 yellow cards to defenders for DC Power, I think, is also beginning to show that they're coming under pressure now. Spokane just tightening the screws. They just haven't got the breakthrough yet. But they know these points are valuable, and they're going to, you would think they're going to push really hard now for this final third of the match to get the breakthrough and the points that they want.
Sydney Cummings on the ball. Long ball just towards the top of the box. Sent forward and out of bounds by DC Power. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter.
The reason, again, why Spokane have to win this match is they can't leave it all to the end of the season in that match against Fort Lauderdale United. Fort Lauderdale have Lexington, DC Power, and Dallas Trinity. They might have qualified by then. And if they don't pick up a win here, even if they get 1 point, they do open the door for Brooklyn to get in. So you want to shut that door on Brooklyn, and a win here today it effectively does that. And then you stretch it a bit further and you make it difficult for Fort Lauderdale United, and then maybe it does come down to the final game. But if they don't get a win here now, Spokane, they really start coming under pressure to actually qualify. They'll be lucky if it goes down to the final game. It might not even get to that.
DC with numbers forward. Fitch finds Duong. Diorio to Freelez. DC's been able to use the counterattack to their advantage. Oh, this through ball to Bagley. Heisey off her line. Cleared out by Spokane.
Good save from Hope Heisey, a crucial save as well. Nice and brave at the feet of Anna Bagley there. She had to make that block. The goalkeeper, as we said, has faced more saves than any other keeper in the Super League, and yet more clean sheets, and you can see why. Very, very important save.
Bear was hoping to sneak it through the legs of Sydney Cummings to find Bagley. DC Power starting to make a move of their own here. So some substitutions for Spokane Zephyr. Mackenzie Weinert will take to the bench. Natalie Vigiano on now for Spokane Zephyr.
This is pretty much as we thought. Round about the 60-minute onwards is when Joe Johnson will make not just one change, but I think you'll see a number of changes coming now as she rotates and tries to keep her players fresh for the big games that hopefully are still to come.
Vigiano has played in 26 games this season now. Some early touches here. Vigiano finds Ekic. Ekic pulls it back. Oh, Amina Ekic. Coming up clutch for Spokane Zephyr once again. Her 9th goal on the season.
If it was going to be anybody, it was going to be Amina Ekic. Such a quality player, and it's come at the right time. We said about 10 minutes ago the pressure was building, the opportunities were growing. But when she eventually gets the ball here in the box, just controls it, comes in on her left foot. She can hit left foot, right foot. But it's just the awareness to bring the ball in. She just sort of throws her body, then cuts inside on the left, opens it up, buries it, gives Morgan Aquino no chance whatsoever. Look at that, tucks it right up. Goalkeeper nearly gets a save to it, but that's what they've been waiting for. The breakthrough Spokane have been waiting for. Now the question is, can they go on to get a second and put this game to bed, or can DC Power work their way back in and get a draw out of this match?
So Amina Ekic in the 65th minute puts up her 9th goal of the season. She's now tied for 3rd in goals in the USL Super League. But we've got to give a shout out to Natalie Vigiano, mere seconds after stepping onto the pitch with the assist to Ekic.
Yeah, nice ball she played into her. And Ekic hasn't been able to get much space throughout this match, and that was one of the few times when she actually runs into the box without someone right on her, and they paid the price there, DC Power. We spoke about it throughout the match. If you're not super tight on Amina Ekic, then she's going to hurt you, and that's exactly what she did there. Now, we were all talking about if Spokane draw, they're in all sorts of trouble, but with a win like this, it makes such a massive difference, and that's why they've been pushing really hard to get this breakthrough.
DC Power now in a very familiar position. They're gonna have to come back in this one. But they did so last Thursday against Dallas Trinity. Came back and won 3-2 on their home pitch here at Audi Field. Thanks to 2 goals from Loza Abera in the second half. And the last time these two teams met on March 15th, 4 of the 5 goals that were scored were in the second half. So these two sides seem to favor the final 45. Allie Cook caught in traffic. She'll be waved for the foul. Again, DC has never come away with 3 points against Spokane. Now an even bigger hill to climb tonight.
Without goalie up front, they really haven't, again, as we said earlier, they haven't really threatened Spokane. It doesn't mean to say they can't get a breakaway. And that's always a threat. If you're Joe Johnson, you're worried that 1-0 might not be enough. Just takes one little moment of magic, through ball for Loza Abera, and suddenly you're only picking up 1 point from this match, and Brooklyn can jump above you in their final game, and then you might not make the playoffs. So these next 20 minutes, absolutely so crucial for Spokane. And of course, the best solution, get a second goal, put this one to bed, stop poor Joe Johnson getting a heart attack at the end. That's what the players will be wanting to do. The question is, can they do it?
Ball finds the feet of Vigiano, sent up to Allie Cook. Allie Cook touches it away. A yellow card shown to Morgan Aquino.
Penalty, I presume. Allie Cook was through. She knocked the ball, got brought down by the goalkeeper. So I only assume it's a penalty. Joe Johnson applauding. Let's have a look. She gets it. I thought the goalkeeper could have come earlier and got it. Yeah, it's a blatant pen, but the ball was played through, and just felt that if Aquino had gone earlier, she would have got that ball comfortably. Instead, she waits, and eventually, when she does decide it's too late, and she brings down Allie Cook, who's been a threat all night.
So Normally we see Amina Akic on penalty kicks for Spokane Zephyr. Allie Cook will take this one. Allie Cook, can she add to Spokane's lead here? Hits off the post. Saved by the woodwork. Morgan Aquino.
Wow. Drama, drama, drama. And Tampa Bay, some players have just jumped up in the air because this match is still alive and there's still a possibility DC Power can win it and give Tampa Bay a place in the playoffs.
Allie Cook is gonna want that opportunity back. We saw her slot a ball through just inside the post against Brooklyn. The equalizer, that time, the post stops her. Here's a look back at how that all transpired.
I think Aquino guesses, oh, this is the actual penalty itself. No question, goalkeeper dives, doesn't get the pull, takes the player down. But the goalkeeper guesses the right way, and I just wonder if she just turned her foot a little bit more, Allie Cook, seeing the keeper guessing the right way, she thought, oh, I need to stick this right in the far corner, and she slightly overcooks it.
I see what she did there. So a last-minute substitution for DC right before that ball trickled out of bounds. Amber Diorio now out. Myra Conte, number 8, in for DC Power. Turned over in the midfield. Spokane on the ball now. Hasn't been able to hold the ball up top and wait for support, but Cujo wins it in the midfield. Fitch. Deflected by Clark. DC comes to this near side. Bagley. DC turns it over. Spokane will take their time here in the 73rd minute. Sydney Cummings loses that ball. Oh, and what a dangerous opportunity for DC. A yellow card issued to Cummings. I believe we'll have another penalty kick on the way. Sydney Cummings, I don't think she felt that pressure from Carly Freeles.
Freeles doing well, and we just said it could be one slip up that lets DC Power back in. Does she hold on her? I can't see a hold. I can see a slight push leaning into Freeles. Let's have a look. You'll see it from this angle. Wow, that's a borderline decision for me. Was there enough? Referee says yes. Referee's decision was all that counts. And now we have more drama.
Alexandra Beletter deems that a yellow card, so a PK for Spokane Zephyr, and looks like Wolfbauer is set to take this, and she's gonna have a long run up to it. Wolfbauer equalizes this one. Wolfbauer puts it away. It's now tied. DC and Spokane. We've got a game, Gary.
We certainly have, and how quickly it's changed in the space of, what, 3 or 4 minutes. A penalty down one side. Allie Cook misses. A mistake here. Freeles gets brought down. Referee deems that to be a penalty by Sydney Cummings, and up steps Wolfbauer for her 3rd goal and her 3rd penalty.
Against this Spokane team.
Same opposition. What is going on here? So now Tampa Bay players and coaching staff are now excited again because DC Power can still go on and win this and give them a place, Tampa Bay a place in the playoffs.
DC wants to add to that lead and tests Hope Heisey. Susanna Fitch with the rocket towards goal.
Well, they certainly are putting their coach Joe Johnson through the ringer here, Spokane. Instead of going up 2-0, it's now 1-1, and their entire season hangs in the balance. Good save in the end from Hope Heisey. Nice tip over the crossbar.
So a corner kick for DC Power. Katie Duong has been busy tonight by the corner flag. The rain's still coming down at Audi Field. Can DC add to their lead here? This ball into the center of the box. Abera on the ground, deflected. Bagley with a big touch, cut off by Ekic. Ekic is gonna take this herself. Coughs it up to DC.
That can be a cruel game at times in soccer. And if this result holds, Ali Cook will look back at that penalty miss and go, you know what? If I tuck that one in at 2-0, maybe we go on to win this 3 or 4 because DC Power will be crushed instead. DC Power remain alive, just 1 goal behind. A mistake at the other end by Sydney Cummings. And now there's a real possibility they don't make the playoffs, Spokane. So that one moment might go down at the end of the season as being a massive, massive moment for Spokane Zephyr if they can't get another goal in these last 13 minutes or so.
It's unfortunate because that's such a rare miscue from Sydney Cummings, who has been a mainstay on this back line for Spokane. Has started and played in 19 games this season. Just doesn't let that ball come across her body. Not sure what's happening here. It looks like Morgan Aquino, the goalkeeper for DC Power, is on the ground. I'm gonna get looked at by the training staff.
She was holding her ribs. I don't know if she got a knock when she went for the ball. But it was a borderline decision as well. Sydney Cummings not entirely convinced it was a penalty. Not entirely convinced, because if you have a look at Sydney Cummings, she was sort of leaning on Carly Friles, but I didn't see a tug. I didn't see maybe a slight push was there, or was it just leaning into her? Difficult decision for the referee to make.
Do you think it's a combination of her being the last defender and just simply having contact in the box?
Well, it has to be more than just contact. If it's contact and it's deemed a fair tackle, then it's
right.
all good. Referee decides that it's a foul. It's a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, which isn't necessarily a red if it's not a bad tackle. So,
right. Well, let's look back at what we're talking about here that led to that DC Power penalty kick. You see Hope Heisey here find the outlet pass to Sydney Cummings.
She leans into her, yes, but is it enough to be a push? Penalty is good, no question about that. Hope Heisey was off and gone to the other side of the goal. But it's one of those decisions that they could have gone either way, and I think the referee just felt there was too much of a leaning coming in, hence the penalty, but not a red card because it's double jeopardy with Dogso, with denial of a goal scoring opportunity. If it's not a bad tackle, if it's not meant on purpose, if it's just a coming together of bodies, which I think that was, then it's only a yellow card.
Well, we've only seen 2 red cards in this inaugural season of
that's
the USL
amazing.
Super League, which is quite shocking. We saw one actually on Saturday in the Spokane-Brooklyn matchup at Maimonides Park, and Tori Hansen, the defender for Brooklyn, pulled down Amina Ekic, and it didn't end up in a penalty kick, but it was a kick right outside the box, and Ekic took it, and Sydney Cummings finished it to put Spokane back in that match. So
And that was a red card because it was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, and it was clearly a pull down.
Right.
Very clear.
DC Power on the front foot once again. Sent out by Cummings, but Fitch just outside the box. Emily Colton with a good ball across the face of goal.
They're beginning to ask more and more questions, DC Power, and then they could very well be on their way to a third straight win. They certainly have come to life with that the missed penalty against them and the penalty they scored for them.
Abera at the top of the box. Looking for Duong. Conte.
Just to make the point, if Spokane did go on to draw this match, and they would have Brooklyn only a point behind them, they both have one match left, so they'd be vulnerable from Brooklyn catching up with them. They'd be vulnerable from Fort Lauderdale United, who would have 3 games in hand and who they meet on the final day. So it becomes a very, very, very tricky last day's game, so to speak, for Spokane if they draw this match. Which is why they're going to want desperately to win it. Poor Jo Johnson on the bench when she got that. Oh, here's trouble.
Over the top, Bagley with the ball at her feet. Cut off by Bourgeois, but again, DC Power knocking on the door. They want to add to this score here.
Bourgeois, good defending there, just getting in front of Bagley at a crucial moment. And there was a DC Power player coming up on the inside there that Bagley might have been able to pass it to.
Sarah Clark is going to have to come off the pitch. She'll be tended to by the training staff. DC Power will take this time to make a substitution. Carly Freeles, her day is done. Yuka Kurosaki will get her first minutes of the day.
Well, Freelez's day is done, her job is done. She won the penalty that's turned this match around, so well done there to Carly Freelez.
Stay informed about all things Super League. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into the league. Allie Cook with a big touch. Defended by Mernon. So a corner kick for Spokane, Amina Ekic. Ball in, oh! Amina Ekic, have yourself a day. Amina Ekic came into this game with 8 goals. She's now in double digits. To match that number on the back of her jersey, she's got 10 on the year.
Well, it's a ball the goalkeeper should really deal with there, Morgan Aquino. Yes, she's under some pressure behind her from Sydney Cummings, but the ball is just, it's floated in and it's bent in nicely. You've got to give Amina Ekic credit there. She puts the ball in coming back towards the goalkeeper, but really it should be a tip over the crossbar. But she won't care. This was is a desperately important and vital goal for Spokane. And now the question is, can they hold on for the next 6 minutes plus any added time? Poor Jo Johnson's already had about 3 heart attacks with penalties missed and then penalties unnecessarily conceded. Now they're back in the lead again.
to the back post. The ball was sent, and that's Alyssa Bourgeois. Her and Anna Bagley on the backside. Looked like they might have collided heads.
The moment there's a head injury, you've got to take your time as a referee. We'll make sure that everything's 100%. But Jo Johnson has got that look on her face that says, I'm not even going to start celebrating yet, because there's already been enough ups and downs in this match. And at 1-1, they were in serious danger of not qualifying for the playoffs. Certainly if Fort Lauderdale had won their games in hand and Dallas had won their games in hand, it wouldn't matter what Spokane did. But now it's back in charge again, and I just wonder if Aquino, because she was grabbing her ribs, and she still is now, whether she was actually injured, and that hampered her ability to get to that ball from Amina Ekic.
You certainly wonder, if you're just tuning in, moments before game paused for Morgan Aquino as looked like she was, holding her ribs a bit, was tended to by the training staff. Just moments later, Amina Ekic putting this Spokane team on her back once again with her second goal on the night.
With her Olympico bending it in straight from the corner. But they won't mind how it goes in Spokane. At this stage of the season, it's not about anything other than picking up these 3 points and getting themselves in a decent position. It's still a position that obviously doesn't guarantee them anything. They will go above Dallas Trinity, but then Dallas have the game in hand on Spokane. What it does do though is takes them away from Brooklyn, makes them safe from Brooklyn. And by the time they play Fort Lauderdale United in the final match of the season, they will know exactly what they have to do, and Fort Lauderdale might very well have even qualified by then and won't need to win that game.
Fort Lauderdale, one of the more unpredictable teams this spring. They went from being one of the hottest offensive teams in the league to really having a dry spell lately and not being able to score goals or not being able to win. It's been a hot minute since they've been able to get some results. Long ball set into the corner.
Well, Fort Lauderdale have 4 matches still to come, and yes, they're a little bit behind, but if they win these matches, I think they're guaranteed to make the playoffs. They've got Lexington away, DC Power away, Dallas at home, and then comes potentially, well, the Dallas one's a big one. That could be a decider. And then the final one against Spokane away in Spokane is also another one. So, well, twists and turns still to come in this league. Maybe there's still twists and turns to come in this match. Who knows?
88th minute now between Spokane Zephyr and DC Power. Last time these two teams met back in March, 4 of the 5 goals we saw scored were put away in the second half, and same story here tonight at Audi Field. 3 goals in the second half between these two sides. Amina Ekic got the scoring started. They almost added to their lead, but Ali Cook couldn't convert on a penalty kick, and moments later, DC Power gets a penalty kick of their own. Madison Wolfbauer puts it away.
But if you have a look at the score and how it could have been, Spokane had a penalty, unlucky to hit the post. It could have been 3 goals. And then on the other side, Spokane have given away a penalty unnecessarily. So in terms of good opportunities, you think Spokane should really be 3-0 up. They're not, and they're still in trouble. But they really have been the better side for me in terms of chance creation.
Giano. Throw in for DC Power. So if Spokane Zephyr can hold on to this lead, keeps their playoff hopes alive, and will jump ahead in the standings of Dallas Trinity.
We talked about Amina Ekic first half, and Phil Nana picked her out and said, you've got to keep an eye on her. She's such a quality player. All three up front, he said, are quality, but Mina Ekic in particular. And wow, has she shown it here today. Certainly the Olympico, the corner that goes in, Morgan Aquino's got to do better, but the goal that scored before that by Ekic, what a good finish. And throughout this match, she's been a danger and someone that has dragged a lot of DC Power's defensive attention onto because they know that she's a threat. Joe Johnson just pointing to the end of the pitch saying, keep the ball over there far away from our goal as possible, which is pretty much the right thing to do when you want to work the clock down. Try and play in your opponent's half. Keep them away from your goal.
We'll have 6 minutes of stoppage time added to the second half.
Some work yet for Spokane to do.
Lots of time for things to change. Throw in for DC Power on this near sideline. Foul in the midfield. Bourgeois caught up.
Doing well again. You mentioned her earlier, the energy she has and just winning the free kick. Every time you get a free kick, when you're trying to work the clock down, you know, you can take a good 15, 20 seconds by the time you get yourself up, dust yourself off, look at this, look around, scan for a pass, and you keep possession and you say, come and kick me again and give me a throw in or another free kick, and that's a really professional way to work the clock down. You do it in your opponent's final third where they can't hurt you. Just keep possession and look. Oh, don't know where that was going to go. I don't know, she was trying to get that as a deflection off the DC player, but the idea though is to try and keep them in this half if they can from a Spokane perspective. Cujo's playing it the other way. She's trying to win the free kick so they can get all the big, tall defenders into the box. And she's reversed the psychology here on Spokane. If you're Spokane, you don't want to give away any free kicks. You just want to stay tight without giving any set pieces, because they're now going to get everybody in this box now, float the ball right into the box and just see what drops.
Duong will play it short. This ball trickles through. And did Jaskinek get a deflection? It did deflect off of her, so a corner kick for DC Power. Time winding down, and DC Power continues to put the pressure on this Spokane side.
They had a chance in that free kick, and I'm surprised. I thought they would almost certainly have bombed it in the box. They didn't. I trust this one will go in the box now.
Katie Duong once again. Can they equalize? Barrett just missed that touch. Mernon pulls it back. Conte. And Ibarra, miscommunication. Turns it over to Spokane. Conte tracks that ball down. Makes sure it stays far away from Amina Ekic.
Well, we always said Tampa Bay Sun players and staff and fans would have been supporting DC Power tonight. We forgot to mention, of course, that so too were Dallas Trinity and Brooklyn and Fort Lauderdale United, because they all want Spokane to drop points here tonight, because it obviously helps their cause.
They're all going to root for the spoiler when the spoiler isn't playing them.
Exactly.
Understandable. Conte to Cujo. DC Power has a couple more minutes to see if they can even this one up. Conte just out of reach of Ibarra. DC Power, their next 3 matches, they're looking at Fort Lauderdale, Tampa Bay, and Lexington. So the next 2, definitely teams that are in the playoff hunt. They can continue their spoiler affair here to end the season.
It's just a pity for them that they didn't get something out of this match, even a draw,
Right.
because 2 wins back-to-back, they're really on a good run.
Sent towards goal. Hope Heisey with the outstretched arm. Thankfully, it goes over the crossbar for her.
Emily Colton there with the strike, and I don't think that was too far away, and it was hit with a lot of power.
So Allie Cook's day is done. Jody Ukakel will finish out this match for Spokane in her place. Ukakel making her 15th appearance this season. So if the score holds, Spokane picks up a big win here at Audi Field. Will jump Dallas Trinity in the standings. Keep their playoff hopes alive. They got above that playoff line for the first time all season last week. Vigiano will take this ball to the corner.
It means it's 1 loss in 11 games now for Spokane. It's a sort of form you want to take into the playoffs.
And that's a wrap from Audi Field. Spokane Zephyr picks up a massive win on the road. They extend their unbeaten streak to 4 matches, thanks to Amina Akic.
Yeah, look at the celebrations. It's such a massive game for them, and they're all hugging Amina Akic because she has been the superstar here tonight, and relief all round. A draw and even a loss would have put them in a very precarious place. I mean, they're still not guaranteed to make the playoffs, but they've got a really good chance now. A draw or a loss, and it might not have been the same case. So massive, massive win for Spokane Zephyr here tonight.
A big game this evening for Spokane Zephyr. A long way from home, but they get the job done thanks to Amina Akic. Final score from DC, 2-1, Spokane Zephyr. We've got more for you right after this. Week 33 in the USL Super League is off to a fast and furious start here on this Tuesday evening. Spokane Zephyr picks up a massive win on the road at Audi Field. They come away with the 3 points thanks to Amina Ekic, who had herself an absolute night. Amina, congratulations. You hit double digits in goals on the year thanks to your 2 tonight. Walk us through both of those goals. They were beyond impressive.
Thank you so much. First goal, Nat came in, really impactful off the bench. She had a good run, played me a ball through, and I do what I always do. I cut it onto my left, and I just hit it hard. You know, the surface is wet, and it just went into the back of the net. And second one, I just got a good curl on it off the corner, and it dinked off the post and went in.
And Amina, you've had a fantastic run, just 1 loss in 11 games. What's been the difference for your side this spring?
I just think we're very much more organized defensively, and we fill roles. You know, once we get beat, we cover for each other. Grit, and we knew it would take a lot to make a playoff push this spring. And even though games like this are hard and the travel and everything, sorry, I can hear myself echo. It threw me off.
No problem. Keep going.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We came this far and we're not going to stop. So that's kind of the motivation coming down here at the end as it's gotten harder throughout the season.
And then final question for you. It's a long break till the final match that you guys have to play at the end of the month. You're going to sit and watch all your opponents, especially Fort Lauderdale United, play. What's it going to be like for you all for the next couple of weeks?
Honestly, we're tired. We're excited to get some time off. This trip has been a lot. Traveling from the West Coast has been a lot. I think we put ourselves in a good position not to have to count on other games and other things to happen, even though, like, if things do happen, it works out in our favor. But we're just going to rest up and then focus on Fort Lauderdale for our last home game of the season.
Well, Amina, congratulations on the win tonight and the 2 goals. Outstanding performance. We appreciate you making the time for us.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Amina Ekic put the team on her back tonight. Let's take a look at the highlights from this one from Audi Field. DC Power, they had been on a hot streak, winning their last 2 games. And here in the second half, though, is where things changed. Natalie Vigiano takes the pitch and mere moments later finds the feet of Ekic.
Lovely pass into Ekic, as Amina said, just puts it onto her left foot and then bangs it in the top corner, towards the top corner, makes it almost impossible to save. A lot of power behind that strike, and that was the lead they were looking for.
And then in the 70th minute, Allie Cook looked like she had a great breakaway, but she's caught up by Aquino and then isn't able to convert on the penalty kick.
Definite penalty, but she just hits that post, and then literally about 3 minutes later goes down the other end, and it's absolute disaster for Sydney Cummings. Carly Feliz does well to nick the ball. Penalty given, Wolfbauer steps up, sends Hope Heisey the wrong way. All of a sudden, Spokane, from being what should have been 2-0 up, are sitting level at 1-1.
And Madison Wolfbauer has 3 goals this season, all coming against Spokane, all on penalty kicks.
Then there's the corner, as she said, Amina, because she just bent it in, and then you can see Aquino just doesn't deal with it. She has to, the goalkeeper, and she waves at it. It gets past her over into the back, and they're 2-1. They held on in the rain, and they managed to get over the line with a 2-1 win.
So looking at the full-time stats, Spokane Zephyr wins this one thanks to the 2 goals from Amina Ekic. They were outshot. I mean, a lot going in favor of Spokane Zephyr. And here's a look at the updated standings. With the win tonight, Spokane Zephyr jumps Dallas Trinity. They're now in 3rd place in the USL Super League.
Puts pressure on Dallas Trinity. We've got a couple of difficult matches coming up. Likewise, Brooklyn just had the final one against Carolina Ascent. Fort Lauderdale United has some difficult games. They've got quite a few in hand, though, to be fair to them. But their final game is against Spokane Zephyr. Could that be the one that decides a playoff spot?
We will have to wait and see. Spokane Zephyr picks up their 9th win on the season. You heard it from Amina Ekic herself. They came this far and they're not going to stop. Thanks for joining us from Audi Field tonight to kick off Week 33 in the Super League. From my partner Gary Bailey, our producer Maria Ringo, I'm Bridget Howard. That's a wrap from DC. Spokane Zephyr the winner, 2-1 final score.